As always, very grateful to be sharing with you. I think one of the interesting things about today is there seems to be basically only one question that keeps coming up again and again.
Yes.
And my question actually is pretty much answered by what you just said, but I still have to ask. The difference between duality and non-duality. When we speak of Brahman, when I hear the word Brahman, and you often equate it with the term God. And God, from what my background was, and many people's, was a dualistic something out there from the Abrahamic tradition. I can understand conscious existence with no beginning and end. More difficult to understand awareness with no beginning and end as being the same as consciousness. And of course, if you have that, you're in bliss. So how can we accept that God exists? Brahman is all pervasive and not something separate from us.
First, the question about God. Yes, I use the term God, and I use it loosely, mainly because it's the easiest term and the most common term and easiest term to use. People are used to it around the world. How do you map the term God into the term Brahman? Brahman literally means the vast, and you find it in the Upanishads. It's referred to in various ways. It's sometimes referred to as Tat, that, the vast. We just sang in the morning today, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahman is infinite existence consciousness. That's not quite what is meant by God, especially in the Abrahamic religions. Now, in the Upanishads, Brahman is spoken of in two ways. Nirguna Brahman and Saguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman is the attributeless Brahman. Saguna Brahman is the Brahman with attribute, literally translating. Saguna Brahman is the same as the Nirguna Brahman, but with the attribute of Maya. And the attribute of Maya enables this Saguna Brahman to be the creator, preserver, and destroyer of this world, to be omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, to be what would be called God in the Abrahamic religions. In the Abrahamic religions, and in all the theistic religions of the world, the theistic religions accept theos, God. How is this God in various religions? What's the common definition? One common definition is the creator God. If God is God must be the creator, must be the maximal possible being, all powerful, all perfection, all love and justice, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, all the omnis, and especially the creator of this universe. In that sense, Saguna Brahman of Vedanta and the God of Abrahamic religions, they're talking about the same thing basically, the same reality. But beyond the Saguna Brahman, beyond the creator God, creator in Vedanta, creator, preserver, destroyer, and in cycles of creation, preservation, destruction, is the absolute. So for Nirguna Brahman, I would use the term absolute. For Saguna Brahman, I'd use the term God. Yes, the two are and the two are not different. But there is a hierarchy. The Nirguna Brahman is a higher or a deeper reality, of which Saguna Brahman, the world, and sentient beings like us are an emanation or an appearance. Or remember, however, Advaita Vedanta does not dismiss God. Some people misunderstand that way. What Advaita Vedanta says is, you are Brahman, Nirguna Brahman, you, the individual being, the Jiva is Brahman means Jiva is Nirguna Brahman. So if I or we are Nirguna Brahman, God is also Nirguna Brahman. Why would you leave God out in the cold? There is only Nirguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman with the power of Maya appears as the one God of this universe and creates, projects and dissolves this universe and appears as the numerous sentient beings of this universe. So that's the tremendous world view or universe view of Vedanta. Simplify it, what is the reality? Only Nirguna Brahman. But how do you explain all this? So Nirguna Brahman is Saguna Brahman, all of this and all of us also. Okay. Now a more subtle question about consciousness and existence. All of this is an ocean of existence. We can sort of understand what is meant by talk like this. The statement that, see, existence everywhere. Table, microphone, men, women, chairs, hall, sky, earth, exist. And I can think of it, I can sort of get what is meant by all of this limitless existence. But when we say consciousness is limitless, it doesn't seem like that. Why? Because it seems that consciousness is only limited to this body, and outside this body, not conscious. Also, this consciousness seems to be episodic. That means it comes and goes. Sometimes I'm more conscious, sometimes I'm less conscious, sometimes I'm unconscious, sometimes I'm awake, sometimes I'm dreaming, sometimes I'm sleeping. So consciousness seems to come and go. Consciousness seems to be limited. The reason for that is that what we call consciousness is what in Vedanta is called Chidabhas or reflected consciousness. It's consciousness experienced in and through the mind. And what is limited is the mind. The mind is actually localized in this body. The mind is that which sometimes is active, sometimes is not active. The mind is something that is sometimes awake, sometimes dreaming, sometimes sleeping. And therefore consciousness seems to come and go with the mind. It's like moonlight and sunlight. Sunlight is always blazing, always shining, blazing forth, limitlessly, fast light. Whereas the moonlight goes through phases. There are phases of the moon. There is the full moon and there are phases of the moon and there is the new moon. Seems to be no moon in the night. But remember, the moonlight, even when we see the full moon or when we do not see the moonlight also, it's nothing other than the sunlight. So what Vedanta means by consciousness is like the sunlight. What we are experiencing as consciousness is like the moonlight. Notice, consciousness seems limited. It comes and goes. Who is saying this? Is it mind or is it consciousness? It's mind. From its perspective, consciousness comes and goes because it is itself coming and going. Yeah. The very fact, so to understand that consciousness is unlimited and consciousness is the same as existence, we can do it in two ways. One is by analogy and one is by experience. By analogy, the dream analogy is useful. In the dream analogy, we fall asleep and forget that we are sleeping. A dream world emerges. And then we experience stuff in the dream world. There are people, activities are going on. I am myself there in the dream world. Then I wake up. I snap out of it. What do I realize? Oh, the whole thing was in my mind. I, the dreamer, appeared as this dream world. Everything and everybody in the dream world was nothing other than this dreaming mind. Now, if I were to be a philosopher of dream, I would say that all existence in the dream was nothing other than mind. All matter in the dream was also this mind. Though it did not seem so. In the dream, a tree seemed like a tree, a bridge seemed like a bridge, a water under the bridge seemed like water under the bridge, people seemed like people, and thoughts seemed like thought. They all seem to be separate. But when I wake up, I'll realize the whole thing, the water and the bridge and the people and whatever is going on in the dream, the park in the dream, is all mind, mind, mind. By the same analogy, so there in the dream, mind and existence are the same thing. Everything that exists in the dream is mind only. Now that's the analogy. What Vedanta wants to say is here in the waking world also, everything that appears and disappears is in consciousness, and everything that, though it does not seem to, it seems to be outside consciousness, is actually nothing other than consciousness, you the consciousness. It does not seem so because of the activity of the mind. So this is the approach from analogy. If we can grasp the dream, we can grasp how it is possible that everything, that here also consciousness and existence can be coextensive. That everything that exists is nothing other than consciousness. We can sort of intellectually grasp. It's like the dream world. In experience, that's a little tougher. That's when we analyze. What we have to do is a process of, say, drigdrishya viveka, seer and seen. Very deliberately, carefully notice every activity of the mind is also seen. It's an object. Every thought, every emotion, every idea, every imagination, every perception, every memory, every sense of ego, I. It's all appearance in consciousness. You don't have to force it. It's a fact. You see, yeah, of course it's a fact. And therefore, what is consciousness? You must flush out every activity of the mind. Then you will realize consciousness remains so in the absence of the mind, in the presence of the mind. When consciousness is appreciated as entirely other than the mind and the illuminer of the mind, you will notice along with consciousness is not only consciousness, existence also follows it. That consciousness is existence awareness. I like the term presence. In the word presence, two things are there: awareness and being. And you will notice that presence, that is existence awareness. And that's where everything gets the sense of being from. Afterwards, when we look out into the world, we will see clearly all of this, as if the existence of all of these is centered in that presence which I am, not in those things. There are names and forms spread out in space and time before me, but they are appearances. The being, the existence, the reality is not there. It's in that presence to which all of this is appearing. Then we will see existence and consciousness are coextensive. They go together. From the perspective of the individual mind, it seems consciousness is limited to this and existence is vast out there. Yeah, leave it at that.